Hi, I'm Jameson Newlander, Alan Frog from the Lost Boys, and you're watching the Frog Brothers podcast.
What's Scooby-Doo running from a spooky ghost?
It's refreshment time, folks.
Are either one of these any good?
Do you like scary movies?
I don't watch movies.
I have to return some videotapes.
You have a TV? No. I just like to read the TV guide. Read the TV guide. Don't need a TV.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me Shell. It's the fucking truth.
Over 1,600 titles, each for rent at just $2 the first night, and only...
Finish him.
I don't watch TV.
Yeah, but you are aware that there's an invention called television, and on this invention they show shows, right?
Watch a few movies, take a few notes.
Okay, I want channels 18, 24, 63, 109, 87, and the Weather Channel.
Welcome to the Frog Brothers podcast with your hosts, Justin and Alec.
Hello, and welcome to episode 92 of the Frog Brothers podcast. My name is Justin. With me is my esteemed colleague, Alec. How you doing tonight?
What's up?
See you going for that Elon Musk look over there?
Yeah, exactly.
Except you don't have a Tesla. You're not a billionaire. And
I don't hope Bernie Sanders dies. So,
yeah, I got that one for you.
Yeah, that's true. Got some big news. If you're listening to this on the audio feed, not much is going to change for you if you exclusively listen to this on the audio feed. But we now have a second YouTube channel. The one that already exists, we're just calling it our main channel. We're going to continue uploading stuff on there, all the toy reviews, prop videos, film locations, music videos, any cosplay videos, collection videos, stuff like that. And all the podcasts and whatnot are going to go to our new channel, which doesn't have a URL yet. Once it has 100 subscribers, it will. But it's linked in our Instagram bio, as well as you can find it through our regular page if you're already subscribed to that. So go subscribe to the new page.
Yeah, this will allow the shorter, quick content to be more digestible, easier to watch for you, and then make the longer episodes just their own line and channel lineup, so it'll be easier to go through and follow those if you want to watch our pretty faces when you're at home or on the go. And then, we've got we just dropped a new video of the Hasbro Fright features, so go check that out on the main feed, and then make sure you subscribe to the new feed if you're checking out the podcasts on there.
Yes.
Speaking of podcasts, we recorded a special episode with Tim Lottie probably a month ago now, but seeing as the Australians just got Ghostbusters Afterlife released, we just thought now would be a great time to release another conversation around the movie, some of the ups and downs and all arounds about the movie. So it's a pretty fun interview to get Tim's take on that. And then Alec and I kind of reiterate a few things we talked about before. So with that said, we've also got the digital release of Afterlife dropping tomorrow. I'm going to do everything I can in my willpower to hold off and just wait for the box set to come out at the beginning of February. So hopefully somebody I know will get the digital and I'll watch it that way in the meanwhile, because the box set comes with the digital. So I don't want to go double dipping there.
Yeah. Makes sense. And, Betty White died this week.
Yeah, that was a fucking bummer. New Year's Eve, she decided to go. She was like a last minute self-checkout here at the end of the year.
I wouldn't call it a self-checkout.
Well, her body did it to her, so.
Well, it wasn't. It
wasn't intentional. Yes, I know.
Self-checkout implies she killed herself, which obviously we have no evidence.
We don't think it happened, but no one said anything. So,
I haven't heard a reported cause of death yet. So, but
when you're 99 years old, there's not going to be a lot of choices for that.
I was trying to imply some sort of drugs to inject some sort of humor into the sad situation, but
maybe you're smoking marijuana, so just let that be your drugs.
This is the only Betty White movie I know I have
on VHS.
Lake Placid. It's a classic. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend it. She's pretty amazing in it. And Bill Pullman's in it, Bridget Fonda, Oliver Platt. This is a It's a good bisexual awakening movie. Because you got Bill Pullman and Bridget Fonda, and you're like, yeah, I want to watch them fuck. Yeah, and Betty White's always hot. So
on New Year's Eve, it was Liz's birthday, but we stayed in and just kind of took it easy. So we binge watched quite a few episodes of Golden Girls because it's on Hulu. If you're looking to go watch it, check it out there. And we also played some Yahtzee. So we partied hard that night. Now we did have some libations, and I enjoyed some cold brews, and we had some snacks and treats and whatnot, but it was a good time.
Well, that's fun. I
hung out with Booger.
Pretty much on New Year's Eve. I didn't even watch Ghostbusters 2 just because I've watched it so many times this year in prep for Afterlife. I was like,
yeah,
I wasn't going to be able to sit and watch it all the way through without being on my phone the whole time, that kind of thing. So I was like, I'm just going to wait. Like I might even buy Afterlife and then just wait again and try to watch them all together.
Oh, yeah.
But we'll see. Because also I'm very interested in the commentary tracks and stuff like that. So
yeah, expect some detailed breakdowns of some of the behind the scene things.
Also, we need to record a commentary track with the digital version, so it's out by the time that the other's out. Hey, behind the scenes for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I need to do that.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. One other cool thing, if you like the behind the scenes and the documentary style aspect of this, make sure you check out Cleaning Up the Town. If you haven't yet, I think Vudu had it on sale for $7 digital the other day. So if you'd never got a DVD copy, that's next to nothing to pick that up, and it's available. So highly recommended if you like the first movie. They haven't released the second movies yet. So Too Hot to Handle, Too Cold to Hold will be the Ghostbusters 2 documentary. So hopefully they're going to get that done sooner than later, but make sure you check that out and support it because they've spent a lot of time on it, and it's well worth it.
Fun.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
So last summer we covered Spider-Man 2002 with Tobey Maguire. And after we watched Spider-Man No Way Home the other day, we're like, well, let's continue on with the original Spider-Man movie. Well, we're just going to kind of make sure we cover the rest of them here as we go over the next couple months. Throw a few of those in here. So tonight we are covering 2004's Spider-Man 2, starring Alfred Molina, obviously playing Dr. Octopus.
Hold on. What are you doing? You're skipping over a theme song? What kind of fucking monkey show is this?
You know what I just watched? Me pulling a can off some moron's fist?
Return of the Jedi. Did you see Alien? When that creature was in that guy's stomach?
You ever see that really old movie? Empire Strikes Back?
Jesus, Tony.
Welcome to Retro Release Reviews.
Welcome to our
Retro Release Reviews.
Spider-Man 2.
I remember the trailers for these because, so there's some lines that because you saw the trailer so many times, they're ingrained in your head still.
Mm-hmm.
This one, the famous one being because they were pretty good at trailers at this point. But this one is where the line of Spider-Man, well, just Peter Parker at this point in this movie, going, I am Spider-Man. No more.
Oh, yeah. Hyping everyone up. Like, what's going on?
Oh, my God. He's not going to be Spider-Man? He's going to quit? Yeah, he wants to experience vagina for the first time. He's tired of not having that.
Yeah, he's been just ruining his own life, basically. So that's an interesting piece of this movie. But we're so used to long superhero movies now, but you got to realize this was like a over 2-hour movie at the time. So pretty impressive. There's a lot into it, man. This really has a lot to break down and get through.
I was 13 when this came out.
Wow. You're 30 now.
Shut the fuck up. I don't even want to hear it. I'm 31 this month.
I know. Alec turns 31 on January 29th. Kansas's birthday. Also Alec's birthday.
Again, don't make fun of my age because I'll just kill myself now and I won't even end up being 31 and then you'll feel real bad. Just for all the listeners out there.
That'll be on you and your mental health, your mental illness.
Yeah, it's just a little
you need to reach out to a professional. If you did that to your dog would never forgive you. So don't be that asshole.
Well, That's depressing.
I'm just saying, don't be that guy. Spider-Man 2. So we see that Peter Parker is struggling to be on time anywhere.
Wait. I'm sorry. I just have to interrupt you because my notes start before that even. Which, the score.
There's so much of this score specifically that reminds me of Batman 89.
Well, because it is Danny Elfman doing a superhero movie. And he did the first two. He did not do Spider-Man 3.
Mm-hmm.
But the first two, I mean, that traditional Spider-Man theme rules because it is different enough from Batman. It's not super dark, but it is a little edgy and like it also reminds me of Men in Black a little bit.
Yeah, and he did that as well. So there's a couple of those notes that really kind of carry between those two and carry over, right? But that's also just his unique ability to craft a music score. So
yeah,
it's a blast. And those fun little intros they had, I love how you see the Marvel pages flipping and everything. Like,
yeah,
by the time the MCU came around, like we're already used to that and we're already been seeing that and enjoying it. So to see that kind of carries on and has been updated and stuff over the years with new characters that they're introducing us to is pretty excellent.
Yeah, I also like the actual opening credit sequence where it just shows like really good art style versions of stuff from the first movie, And
that kind of recap just so you know what's going on as you get to it.
That was a lot more relevant back when you would have to rent it or catch it on the thing or have bought the movie to watch the other one right before you went and saw this one, which I mean, was something we all probably did, but there's other people out there who didn't. So it's kind of just helps people. And I don't know, I really enjoyed it. The music and that opening sequence there.
Yeah, it's pretty clever. It holds up very well.
But yeah, he's late for work at this pizza place. There was a disturbance.
Yeah. He says disturbance several times throughout this movie when he's talking to people.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. So he also goes and talks about, oh, I'm so sorry I'm late, and then he's on that little moped of his. Then he's got the 29-minute guarantee for free pizza and gets the whole spiel from his boss.
Yeah. He has to go 42 blocks in 7.5 minutes. He has 8 extra large deep dish pizzas.
Which don't even get me started on deep dish pizzas in New York. Fuck.
Yeah.
Chicago shit. Get your cities right, man.
Here's one of my favorite Spider-Man cameos, though, is Darnell Rollins. Whoa! He stole that guy's pizzas.
Yeah, that's pretty funny when he comes around that corner. Then he's swinging around, and I just wanted to see them open the box of pizzas and see how utterly destroyed they were from swinging around all over town.
Right. Well, he gets webbing on one of them.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Those are the slice back from that guy. Yeah, that guy finds a pizza on the rooftop, and then he steals it back.
Yeah. Just makes me want pizza now, damn it. I'm also stoned, so I'm like really thinking about pizza now.
Which that was not a deep dish slice of pizza that he webbed back. So
it wasn't
there. I forgot that part, but it's okay. We forgive it. It's movie magic.
Well, we don't because it's pizza. Pizza, that's a crime against pizza.
It is. You don't call something.
I'm gonna. If I ever have the chance to interview him, that's what we're gonna ask him about.
Sam Raimi.
Yeah. You're like, so what the fuck is up with this?
Yeah. Why did you use deep dish pizza and then you didn't actually have deep dish pizza displayed? The fuck were you thinking?
It's just false advertising.
No.
Now the pizza's going to be free even if he gets there on time because you fucking made the wrong shit.
Mm-hmm.
And then he comes out of the broom closet. And that scene's always kind of funny. This one's like the funniest out of the three, but like Spider-Man 3 is unintentionally funny,
Yeah.
This one is just like it knows what it's doing and it's very self-aware and it's very hilarious. Like the whole you're 2 minutes late. I'm not paying for those. And how, pizza time is a meme now because of this shit. Like these movies are memed to death and it's amazing. They're hilarious. It goes to his birthday party that night.
Yeah, he has a surprise birthday. He has no idea is going on. He's like, "What?"
Yeah, and I always really liked Aunt May in these movies too. So
she's good for an older Aunt May. I think she's got a good portrayal.
Well, I think that's what I was used to because of the '90s cartoon. The '90s cartoon, the way she looked, it looked like Granny. our grandma. So I always imagined Aunt May being old, even though it doesn't really make logical sense. Yeah, MJ and Harry are there, and he's like, taking pictures of your pal Spider-Man. How's a bug these days? And that's also, I think, one of those trailer ones,
Yeah.
She gives him like $20 when he's about to leave. And he's like, I can't take this from you. And she's like, yes, you can. You can't take this money from me. And he's like,
Yeah, we realize she's having hard times there.
Hard times coming just like the... All right. I wrote down, I relate. I am Aunt May.
Oh. You are Aunt May. You know what we forgot to mention is Elizabeth Banks. You forget that she's in these movies. She's the receptionist at
Betty Bryant.
Yep.
Who is also in the same characters in the new Spider-Man movies. The blonde girl that does the news at the school and is dates Ned in the second one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's funny,
but it's interesting adaptation.
Well, he gets that $300 tab picked up from selling the Spider-Man photo, and then
yeah, she's like, no, this doesn't cover.
She's like, this doesn't cover the advance I loaned you. And you're like, sucks, man. Sucks to be that poor. Those days are terrible.
Yeah, and then he gets home and rent Mr. Dinkovich, which is one of the just another brilliant addition to these movies. And I love him.
They're great. Because
hi. What's hi? Can I spend it?
Mm-hmm. Sees the $20 that he's got and snatches it.
Yeah, that shit breaks my heart when I see that. And I'm like, oh, that hurts.
It's the last 20 you got, and the guy takes it.
Yeah.
And clearly the landlord's daughter has a thing for Pete. So
yeah,
she's checking him out the whole time. And her dad, he's just, like you said, he's a great character, mostly because he's such a comic book character, right? And sometimes you forget like how well those characters actually intermingle in these older movies, some of these older comic book movies, like where you have that over the top zaniness that you kind of get in some of the books.
Or you get with Jameson exactly in this movie. Like this is peak Jameson is this movie for sure. Did you see that deleted scene I sent you earlier?
Yeah, I saw that where he tries a suit on.
Yeah, and he's like jumping around on his desk, pretending like he's shooting webs. I love that shit.
Yeah, and his love-hate with Spider-Man in this movie is perfect because it, gives him the benefit of the doubt and then takes it away. Gives him the benefit of the doubt and then takes it away. It's like kind of an ongoing theme of back and forth there, so it works very well.
Yeah. This is where Peter gets introduced to Otto at his house, and Otto and his wife try to get Peter in a three-way. Mm-hmm. Oh wait, did I watch the same Spider-Man?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no, that's what happened. That's what happened. That's what I wrote down.
Either way, you may have paused it, put on the wrong movie. It's fine.
That does happen. You see Alfred Molina on screen, and you're like, well, now I have to masturbate.
I mean, you may as well. What else are you gonna do?
So yeah, then they have interesting talks, and he's like, "Oh, I'm charming, and look at how in love with my wife I am still. I'm successful, and I'm brilliant." And Peter's like, "Oh man, this guy has it all, and he's fat too." I love it.
They really do a great job of setting him up with, that relationship that he has and his love for science, and basically explains it. Science is easy for him, but reading like literature and other types of entertainment come as a strain for him.
Yeah.
So I get a kick out of that because he's like really struggling with that, right? It's a good blend of the character. And then obviously they allow you to like Octavius before you really kind of see what happens with him. So
he has another great like villain story, basically.
Yeah, I forgot how good this was till I rewatched it, right? Because it's not one of those I hadn't gone back to since the MCU started, really, honestly. I just hadn't really revisited these. So it was one of those things like, oh yeah, there's some real weight to these that really works.
Yeah. So then it kind of shows the introduction of the arms and stuff. He explains how that works, and then he starts doing the demonstration for all the press there and the different military people and whoever else, other science people, and it starts to fuck up, of course.
Yep. Starts magnetizing everything outside of the field that's supposed to be protected.
Yep. It starts to breach the field, and then it's over with. Basically, the place starts crumbling. Peter changes into Spider-Man, and he's like saving the day.
Well, he saves Harry, and then Harry looks at him and says, "This changes nothing," or whatever it is. So that's like a classic kind of a line there, right?
Very comic booky.
Yep.
Because it's just like a one line. There's no, it's just quick and interaction. Then his wife is killed in the glass.
Yeah, that glass that
is her name.
You know what I really noticed this time of this viewing specifically is how much some of the action sequences and death shots and things like this and this just are straight from like the Evil Dead series.
Yes, it's Sam Raimi. Like they're
exactly, and it's beautiful that way, right? You don't even realize it because they're not as gory in like the same gratuitous way that you get in Evil Dead or Evil Dead 2 or even Army of Darkness, but they land really well, and visually and aesthetically they're done in such a way that's like very captivating to watch. Like seeing that glass fly out that way, it's like shot out of a horror movie.
Yeah.
So very awesome to see. So that just got me more hyped for Doctor Strange after watching this.
Oh, for sure.
There is the Doctor Strange joke in there when they're talking about naming Dr. Octopus.
Yeah.
They say, what do we want to call him? Dr. Octopus. He's like, no, Doctor Strange. Great, but already taken.
Yeah.
And then Jonah takes the name Doc Ock and uses it himself, and everyone's like, oh yeah, great idea.
Yeah. Basically the inhibitor chip is broken and Spider-Man pulls the plug there. And then that's kind of when you switch over to the horror scene, the really good one at the hospital where he's passed out. And this scene is literally Independence Day meets Evil Dead.
Absolutely. And it works so well.
I love it. I love this. There's like saws, the screaming and shit, like the flashing, the very classic horror shots of like the woman and the nails coming up on the floor, being dragged into the darkness. Like
that's so cool because you even see like the piles of shred from each individual nails that like,
it's fucked up.
Like, yeah. Perfect. And that's total comic book thing, right? That doesn't happen in real life, but that works so well there and it looks great. It just looks terrifying because of that.
Yeah. Then he pretty much kind of wakes up and everybody's fucked up and dead, basically.
He doesn't really understand what's going on yet, right? It takes a while for the arms to kind of poison his mind.
Yeah. And then he starts basically bank robbing.
And yeah, the arms basically
the bank, though, like trying to get more time for her loan or whatever,
Yeah, and she wants the free toaster, which she doesn't get.
Oh, yeah.
You got to open an account with 300 minimum. And maybe he doesn't have it.
God damn it. Someone give this woman some money, please.
Exactly.
Somebody put Spider-Man on a payroll, too. That's the whole battle sequence with them on the side of the building with him holding Aunt May because he decides to grab her. Now, the only thing that's super noticeable in these, to me, that's kind of cheesy, but it's forgivable because it's based on, the sort of a lot of the original comic books and how they were, which is there's a lot of damsel in distress shit. There's always a burning fucking building and shit like that.
Yeah.
Like,
very cliche, but it works.
It works, but at the same time, you're like, all right, well, there was a burning building in the last one. Mary Jane is literally kidnapped and used as bait at the end of all three of these movies. What the fuck?
Well, that's the whole story arc of him not wanting to put her in harm's way.
Yeah, I know, but he constantly does, whether he's with her or not. So it's like, fuck it.
Well, we did forget Bruce Campbell's cameo where he plays the usher at the theater that won't let Pete into the performance of Mary Jane's play when he shows up late.
Yeah.
And that's a pretty big deal, right? That's a reoccurring piece throughout this film is that Pete can't make it, gets invited out there. So eventually we circle back to that.
Yeah, there's the rumors that he was supposed to be Mysterio in the 4th movie, and that they were gonna imply that he had been fucking around in Spider-Man's entire existence.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's rumors of that. I don't know how true they are, but it's an internet thing, so it's an interesting thought. But and he would be in funny Mysterio, but
and after No Way Home, the door's wide open.
Right,
they could still do that.
Do a 4th Toby movie with Bruce Campbell as Mysterio. I'd watch it.
Hell yeah, I would. Jesus, that sounds amazing just hearing about it.
Yeah. That'd be good. And
some of the funnier little jokes are the elevator costume talk. I'm backpedaling a little bit because we skipped a few things, but when he's going upstairs on the elevator.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's the guy from he's like a small time actor, but he was on those VH1 shows, I Love the 80s and stuff, and he was in Dude, Where's My Car as the leader of the cult.
Yeah, he's funny. He's like, "Oh, is that Spider-Man suit? Yeah, nice. How is it? Yeah, it's kind of itchy. And it rides up in the crotch a bit."
Yeah.
It's funny, right? Having some honest dialogue about the costume because
Go Web, go!
Exactly.
I think the Stan Lee cameo is very brief. He doesn't have any lines. Isn't he in the crowd there?
Yeah, I'll tell you exactly where it is in a second, because yeah, he's obviously got his in here, which
I think he's just in the crowd when Aunt May is being fucked with by Doc Ock on the side of the building.
Mm-hmm.
And this is another interesting bit. The astronaut boyfriend of Mary Jane.
Yep. And the interesting bit with him is that he's obviously
they don't use him to what they eventually they don't do all the comic stories, obviously. He eventually does a lot of different things, but he also brings back the fucking symbiote.
Yeah. Yeah, they're kind of setting that up. So, they're kind of already had an idea
that way, which is kind of weird. So, but whatever.
Yeah.
They had planned to, which is why I think he's still in the 3rd movie somehow. Isn't he? Fuck.
Yeah, I thought he was on the wasn't he not one of the astronauts that brought it back in the 3rd one?
Well, they didn't bring it back. That like broke off and it wasn't involved with them.
Gotcha. Okay.
So it's like
since I've seen it, so
they kind of changed it a little bit. A lot of it, whatever.
Yeah, that's John Jameson, J. Jonah Jameson's son. So
yeah, Peter's hired to go photograph the event, and that's
to be the engagement event.
Yeah. Well, I don't think that's an event for it because he proposes to her there, doesn't he? Or did he? Or was that what it was? He's like, "Oh, my son got engaged. You need to come."
Well, it's like a recognition award event for his son.
Okay, yeah,
that happens to propose there.
Yeah. Yeah. He finds out Mary Jane is engaged, and then Harry slaps the shit out of him.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, what a night.
That's pretty wild. And then Peter goes to the doctor and tells the doctor all about it. And he's like, you don't.
In my dream, I'm
have to do anything. Yeah. Obviously, which is underplayed. I feel like that should have gotten more like, huh? What? His doctor would probably know because he's probably covered in bruises and shit.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. You get the feeling that he's giving it away with the way he's talking.
Yeah. The doctor basically gives him permission to just quit. He's like, no, man, you don't have to do that.
And then it's, we cut to Doc Ock again, and Doc Ock is building and another fucking machine, and he's smoking cigars and shit. And that's when you have the whole Uncle Ben scene where he's flashing back to getting out of the car with Uncle Ben, and he's talking to him. He's like, "I'm Spider-Man, no more."
Mm-hmm.
And then you have the raindrops keep falling on my head sequence.
Yeah, that basically he's free of that for now.
My favorite bit in that's funny is when he grabs a hot dog and then sees the police chasing somebody down the road, or a whole bunch of people going down. I don't know if they're chasing anybody, police and fire and ambulance or whatever. And then he just looks concerned for a minute and then just takes a big ass bite of his hot dog, like eats half of it.
Yeah, naturally, he's still inclined to be observant and aware of things going on, but he's just totally cool with checking out at the moment. So,
yeah. And then he goes to, and this is a little montage, but they show him when in Connor's class and stuff, and he's answering questions that he's doing well, which is a good time to talk about the actor that plays Dr. Connors.
Uh-huh.
I don't have his name in front of me, but he was in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles as the son of Gus.
Oh, yeah, he's the truck driver, the pickup truck driver.
Yeah. Nice. Train don't run out of that whole
train run out of Wichita. People train run out
of Bill.
Yeah, pretty much.
Unless you're a hog or a cattle.
No, and you really start seeing like the change he's going through just personally, and then you get to the point where he reveals to Aunt May that he's the cause.
Yeah, there's the garbage guy too. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, that goes and turns the Spider-Man costume over to Jameson.
Yeah. So it's funny because this guy's
I get him for that on eBay.
Yeah, he's in a lot of different movies and stuff. He's in Mulholland Drive as a cop.
Nice.
He's in Dark Knight Returns as a cop. He's in Twin Peaks: The Return as a cop. And he's a garbage guy in this.
Yeah.
I mean, cops are pretty much garbage people anyway, right? Can pick up trash. No, just kidding.
Insert laugh track there.
No, I was just deciding how hard I was going to go on cops, and then decided,
yeah, better.
I'll know my opinions on these things, I think.
Yeah. The Columbia University, you can see so much of it, all those shots that, you can kind of compare that are on campus there with Dr. Connors throughout the film, right? There's a couple interactions there, which I'm sure they shot pretty much same day. Like, why wouldn't you? You're in the same spot.
Yeah.
So, but that is pretty cool, just seeing and comparing the scenes in Ghostbusters and things like that. Other movies, it's a pretty well-known shooting location in New York. So,
yeah. Oh, he saves a kid in a fire in his street clothes, and that's actually right after he tells Aunt Meg basically that he's responsible.
Aunt Meg, that's love it.
Hey, did I say Aunt Meg?
Yeah. All of a sudden we're talking Twister.
And then Bill walks in, tips his blue jeans.
Yeah. She's thinking about Bill's packaging blue jeans.
Flicking her bean. And yeah, she's kind of like pissed and leaves the room, and then later forgives him. She's like, whatever, I mean, I get it. It happens.
Yeah, and she's not as mad as I remembered. Like when she gets up and leaves the room, it's just more her like walking away because she doesn't know how to process that in front of him.
Yeah. I mean, she's not like, fuck you, but she is definitely like withdrawing from the situation, like in a, no, I'm not going to touch you right now. Get the fuck away.
Yeah, I don't want to deal with that at the moment. Yeah. And the CGI in this movie held up really well.
Yeah.
Looks great. I mean, this was released on IMAX screen, so obviously it had to look good.
Mary Jane's kind of a cunt.
Well, Parker's not very great in this.
No. I only have one reason why.
Okay, sure.
I mean, I don't think she's typically a cunt to him or anything because he's weird and dumb. So, when she makes out with this guy when he's upside down and then gets mad in Spider-Man 3 for Peter doing that with someone else. I mean, I know they're together, so she has a right to be mad about that, but not about how he's kissing someone, I don't think.
That's fair.
I think that's a little cunty.
Well, you also have the moment in here, right? This really kind of builds the dynamic of their relationship where, he goes and tells her lunch that, you know, he wants to try things with her. You know, he's still his feelings essentially have changed and all that.
And she's like,
she's like, I'm engaged and you're an asshole. And he's like, what? Wait, can't you think about it? And if you think about it, that is kind of fucking pompous and arrogant. I mean, I get it, right? But the movies always show you, like, if you do that in real life, you're a real fucking piece of shit. If you do that in the movies, you're like, oh, you're so in love.
yeah.
So, yeah, very interesting.
My notes go from.
You get anything wacky in there?
I said there's always a burning building. And then the note just says guy's daughter. I don't know what that means. Is that
landlord's daughter? Probably.
Oh,
you
yeah.
Gotta remember, she comes over and gives him some pie or cake or something. Cake and milk and cake.
Hi Alec from yesterday does not communicate well with Hi Alec today.
Oh yeah.
Could have wrote down some more notes other than guy's daughter. I should have written down pie, and I'd been like, oh, okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But I can introduce you to you.
Basically.
Yeah, no, so that was pretty funny. You know, they're really clearly like trying to level that up as her interest in him. So there's some good background characters and stories and stuff there that doesn't really have to go anywhere, but it still helps carry the plot that, you know, people care about Peter beyond just you know, the normal circle of characters. And then I love it when Doc Ock goes up and visits Harry and he's like, hey, I need the tritium. And he's like, no. And he's like, well, actually, wait a minute. If you kill Spider-Man, he's like, actually, never mind. Bring him back alive. I want to see him.
You go actually, wait while you're out, get the meatball sub too.
Yeah. So you start seeing Harry, right? Because Harry's just kind of an asshole. Yeah, Harry's just a dick in this movie the whole time, right? You know, he like wants to be friends with Peter still, but he's clearly deeply hurt about the whole situation. So, which his character arc's pretty good over this original trilogy, right? I think it works out pretty well.
It's all right. Mary Jane goes out with Peter again.
Mm-hmm.
And she's like, I want to kiss you. I want to kiss you. And he's like, what? I mean, shit. All right, sure. Let's do it. And then when they're about to kiss, that's when his spider sense goes off.
Yep. And his car comes flying through there.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. That's what happens.
Car flies through the coffee shop, which is pretty intense, right? That was a really well done action sequence. That whole sequence there, and then you know, him telling Parker, and no one bats an eyelash how he throws Parker with mechanical arm into the wall and like he doesn't die.
He's badass. That's why.
Yeah, essentially.
Badass nerd.
Like no one tells you that that's Spider-Man. Like that's not a sign at all. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, which this leads us into the train scene,
which is an insane sequence, right? The New
one
York
one of the best scenes of the movie too,
for sure.
And he's like trying to stop this fucking train because it's just gonna go fucking off the edge at the end and fucking make a big collision and everybody is gonna die.
And this whole sequence here, you know, after he saves everybody there and they kind of help save him back was, and you got to realize this is like right post 9/11 still, probably when they're shooting this and writing it. So it's very much a pat on the back and tribute to the camaraderie, you know, New Yorkers had after they kind of had their city attacked and like really wanted to come together as a community, right? You really feel that watching it.
Thanks, Dad.
I had to go there.
New Yorkers be like,
you know how much I sacrificed?
Exactly. But, you know, they make the whole big thing out of him losing his mask and they'll help him. He's just a kid, no older than my own son. And they give him his mask back. And
I wonder how big his dick is. Let's look at his dick while he's asleep. Really quick. Let's take a picture of Spider-Man's dick. It's more famous than his face, for sure.
That's what I'd be thinking if I was on that train. But I wouldn't act on it, you know, it'd just be like the thought would enter my mind of, whoa, Spider-Man's face. Let's see his dick.
I mean, what's your obsession with superhero sex organs?
Superhero sex organs. I like that kind of thing.
That's still my favorite. Stan Lee cameo was Mallrats. Doesn't get any better than that.
Doesn't get any better than that.
That whole stopping the train though, and just like right at the very end, that's all so intense. I remember the first time seeing that, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's really good. And then, like you said, with the way they treat him afterwards is awesome. You're like, awesome. Yeah, this is what he fucking deserves, a little fucking respect. And then Doc Ock comes anyway and's like, all right, bitch, come on.
Yeah, after he gets remasked, he snags him and then takes him to Harry. And you see him sleeping on a nice bed. Like, why did Harry have Spider-Man put in a bed? I didn't understand that. Like, wouldn't you just want his lumpy ass on the floor? Like,
Right.
this is your villain here. This guy killed your dad, and you're gonna put him on your bed? Like, you gonna
See, if I had directed out of had Harry be like, I don't want him to bleed on my couch, put him on the floor.
Well, it looks like he's playing a game of Marry, Fuck, Kill on his own there. He doesn't know what he wants to do with him.
True.
He's conflicted. And then
is that web fluid?
Franco is so terrible. Like when he sees Peter unmasked and like backs away from everything, I'm just like, oh my God, it's very comic book-esque though, so it works, but it's just cheesy.
Yep.
And then, they have that dialogue. He's like, look, we got bigger things to deal with than us right now. And, Harry does accept some responsibility into the whole situation there for the tritium and hiring Octavius anyhow. So they kind of let their beef be there.
Yeah. For a minute.
Yeah.
Till the next movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really take any notes about, let's see here. Yeah.
Well, the battle as the nuclear reaction starts, threatening the city. So
I remember that. That's what I'm saying. Like, I didn't take any notes about that scene, but it's because I'm just kind of like, I've seen it a million times and I was just watching it. But it's like,
well, the big piece you get at the end is, Peter reveals himself to Octavius, and he basically reiterates the speech that Aunt May gives to him about sometimes you got to let your dream go, right?
Yeah.
And that appeals to him, and I'm not sure if the chip's gone bad in him at that point or what, or if he's able to overcome it. But like they do have,
he has mental power over it at that point. He like is starting to realize and stop listening to it. It's not that I don't think it's that the chips aren't working again or anything, because the chip fried out. That's what made.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, yeah. So essentially, though, he regains enough of himself to kind of be aware of what's going on, and then sacrifice himself to destroy the experiment. Obviously, Mary Jane sees Peter's true identity, which he goes on to his spiel. Is like, this is why we can't be together, because like I'm Spider-Man and people are always going to want to hurt you.
And then while he's holding up that thing above her, she pulls his dick out because he can't stop her. Just to see it. And then she's like, I'm good. You need to shave that thing, dude.
That's mean. You forget about his web anxiety in this movie too, which isn't a huge deal. Like, it's pretty well done. It's just kind of like he's having struggles with it.
Yeah.
So
Norman appears to Harry in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And then he finds his lair after he smashes the glass.
Yeah.
That shit's funny. Because his costume in the third movie is terrible.
It's one of the worst superhero costumes ever done. But I get that they're trying to do their own thing with it, but there was other Green Goblins in the comics they could have based it on, even without doing a mask or helmet. So.
And then Mary Jane is a runaway bride.
Hell yeah, she is. I wonder if that inspired that lady that was really big in the news like a decade ago or whenever that was. Runaway bride. Or is this based on her?
Didn't she like fake her death or some crazy shit too, though?
I think there's been more than one of those.
Yeah.
Some wild shit right there.
Call Deborah. The caterer? Tell her not to open the caviar.
Yeah, that's hilarious. Like, he's just worried about overspending. He already knows he's burned at this point.
Yeah, he's like, oh, God damn it.
She goes to Pete's apartment. They kiss. They hear sirens, and she encourages him to go help his Spider-Man.
Which is like, I would be like, no, those people can go fuck themselves. I'm getting laid.
Exactly.
It's like the first time.
Yeah, it's It's such a good one, and there's so many little subtleties in it. Like I said, I love the Evil Dead style shots for some of those action sequences, especially the scarier ones in the hospital is great. Even as the first experiment fails, I think those hold up really well.
Fucking A, man.
And then the biggest gripe about this trilogy right now, and it's not even, has to do with a lot with this one, but Dr. Connors, we never get to see his storyline kind of finish.
Yeah.
Which is fine, though. I do love how the fact that they had him in there and they never just felt like they had to do the lizard story. They're able to just kind of have him as a background character to kind of build it up, which works too, right? I think that goes a long ways because you've already got that established character that's ready to be.
Yeah. He's the first episode is Dr. Connor's lizard episode of the Spider-Man animated series, which we've both been watching. I found out today. We just coincidentally both decided to watch.
Yeah.
But it's on
Disney. He's great.
Plus.
Yeah, check those out on there. Overall, though, this movie really holds up. And then I love how when you see No Way Home, and I guess we should have said spoiler alert because we've talked about that a little bit, but just seeing where that character left, and you get to see that he finds himself there and he's proud of Peter, and like they have that kind of conversation there that they are friendly again. They have that recognized peer-to-peer kind of respect. So felt good. I love how you redeem this character enough just to have him sacrifice himself. I guess that's one of the things in these older movies, though, before the MCU, right, where it seems like you're always having to kill off the bad guy, and then the MCU is like, no, wait, we can't just kill people off at the end of every movie. I mean, occasionally you do, and some of the villains got to go, but right, it used to be a problem where like every time you kill them off.
Let's go down the line here.
Green Goblin dies.
Not Green Goblin. I'm talking about the MCU stuff.
Oh.
Because like an Iron Man, what's Jeff Bridges' character's name? The actual comic book character villain name?
Oh yeah, I don't know if that. Yeah.
Warmonger, is that it? I don't know. Either way, motherfucker, he dies in that movie.
Yeah.
And then does the guy in the second one die? Ivan Drago or whatever the fuck his name is.
I can't remember if he dies or if he just goes to jail.
Red Skull doesn't die, does he? He dies? I can't even remember. It's not.
There's a lot that don't, but I mean, there's people that carry over from that, and it's not the same thing. And there's
still a lot that die though. I mean, Killmonger dies. The fucking villain in Shang-Chi dies. The dad even dies.
Yeah. But they're also building up bigger villains in the background too, right? So there are villains that travel from movie to movie. So it's not like every single one of them just goes.
Yeah, just most of them.
Yeah.
He's the main one that was in a lot of stuff. Obviously, Thanos and stuff like that. And then small villains that aren't really villains.
Oh, there's people that turned into villains later on. Like you kind of really realize these people. But anyway, just something I was thinking about, right?
Well, that's Spider-Man 2.
Yeah, jump in the comments. Let us know what you thought of Spider-Man 2 if you've gone back to review it after seeing No Way Home. And we'll do Spider-Man 3 here before too long. Talk about that. Now, that's a special movie right there.
That's I still like that movie, but it has hilarious issues. It's still very fun to watch, though.
Oh, there's some great action sequences in there, and there's also some like terrible casting, and there's some brilliant casting in there too. So, gotta love it.
Yeah. We'll talk about Topher Grace another time.
Yeah, we don't have time today.
I mean, I like the guy, and I don't even like. There's a part of me that's like, he's really not that bad. It's just, I don't know, weird.
He's nothing like the comic character that you're familiar with that it's based on. So it just seems so off-putting.
Well, that's the thing is, as a child, I was mostly watching the Spider-Man cartoon. I wasn't reading as much of the comics. I read some of the comics, but the cartoon portrayal is the one I'm most familiar with Eddie Brock, and it was nothing like that. So,
yeah, even the comics I was reading at the time, like he's just a giant ripped dude, and even Planet of the Symbiotes and all that stuff, like where it's Topher Grace just doesn't feel like gigantic enough to be that level of a villain.
Yeah,
not to his own fault, right? good job on him for getting the role. I mean, can't argue that.
I would like to see some clone action with Ben Reilly in the Spider-Man stuff.
Yes.
The only thing I think we might not see that. Well, I mean, I guess if he's a clone, it's kind of like doesn't matter as much, but I feel like they would most likely introduce Miles Morales before they even go down a route like that, but which I don't have a problem with. I want to see that too, to be honest. So
yeah, I'm ready for a live action Miles. I mean, I think you can have more than one Spider-Man in the universe, the live action universe, right? We saw how well they work together. So
I think they might just wait till Tom's like, no, you know what? I'm fucking done. And that'd be good for me too.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Either way.
I just like the Scarlet Spider outfit.
Yeah, that's cool. And then the Ben Reilly Spider-Man outfit when he takes over the mantles, and that's another cool change too.
Yeah.
So there's some great costumes from back then. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now. So we will catch you on the next one. Let us know what your favorite Spider-Man of the original trilogy is.
Peace.